Hello and welcome to part 6 of my Japanese for Beginners series. By the end of this video, you will be able to combine nouns, adjectives, particle no, particle wa to make longer, more descriptive sentences like, my girlfriend's hair is pretty. This lesson corresponds to page 44 of the Genki textbook, but even if you don't have the textbook, that's okay. This video will make perfect sense on its own.
では始めましょう。
So first, a note on the writing system. I recently released 2 videos, one for learning hiragana and one for learning katakana. They're pretty comprehensive videos. They show all the characters and combinations you can make with the characters to make all of the basic sounds in the Japanese language in both hiragana and katakana. I'm putting up cards next to my face as I speak, and there's also links in the video description below for those videos. I'm mentioning those videos because this video, this very one that you're watching right now, will be the last video where I'm going to include romaji. That's Roman script of the Japanese things that I'm talking about up on the screen with me. I usually include hiragana and romaji of everything, but after this video, it's just going to be hiragana, and I'm going to start slipping in some kanji as well. Don't freak out, it's going to be little by little, and kanji are amazing. You're going to learn to love them. So first, we are going to start by reviewing the grammar rule we learned a few videos back. X1 wa X2 des and X wa Y des. So X is a noun and Y is an adjective. So in the first case, it is one noun is another noun. And in the second sample sentence, it is this particular noun is an adjective. So you could have sentences like Oka-san wa isha desu, like my mother is a doctor, or Oka-san wa kirei desu, my mom is pretty. And now let us review the particle no. So that was the last video, the video right before this one in part 5 if you missed it. No shows possession. So if you have noun 1, no, noun 2, it means that noun 2 belongs to noun 1. So you could do a phrase like inu no boru, which is the dog's ball or the ball of the dog. And then, as I mentioned in the last video, also, you can add adjectives before nouns, just like you can do in English to make slightly more complex phrases. Like I could do inu no akai boru, which would mean the dog's red ball, or the red ball of the dog. So now we're going to combine these two concepts together. When you do a noun, no noun compound, what you can do is you can think of putting brackets around that entire thought. So if you thought inu no boru, you could put that whole thought in brackets, and that could become the X or the Y in our sample X wa Y des sentence. So I'm going to give you some concrete examples here. Here's a sentence. 彼女の髪はきれいです. So in this case, 彼女の髪 is our X in our X wa Y des sentence. So that whole thought, 彼女の髪 X. は kirei desu. Kirei is our Y in this case. So 彼女の髪 is pretty. So the 彼女の髪 part, 彼女 means she or her if you say 彼女の, so possessive. But it can also mean my girlfriend, because Japanese. And kami is hair. So this sentence means my girlfriend's hair is pretty, just like I promised I would teach you in the beginning of this video. That is how you say my girlfriend's hair is pretty, or her hair is pretty. So in that case, I replaced the X in the XYY des model sentence with a no compound. So you can also replace Y with a no compound. So in this example, 私は日本語の翻訳者です. So in this case, 私 is the X, and 私 means me or I. And then 日本語の翻訳者 is the Y in the case of this sentence. So 日本語 is Japanese. 翻訳者 is a translator. So 日本語の翻訳者 is a Japanese translator of Japanese. So the whole sentence 私は翻訳者です is I am a Japanese translator. And then in this example, you can replace both X and Y in XYY des with a no compound. So behold this sentence right here. 私の彼は18歳の高校生です. much, much longer sentence, but we're still only really using 2 grammar rules here. But already you can see how much more interesting and long and complicated you can make your sentences just with 2 little grammar rules. So, watashi no kare. So just like kanojo can mean she or girlfriend, kare can also mean he or boyfriend. And if it's the phrase watashi no kare, my kare, that like always means my boyfriend. So watashi no kare is my boyfriend. So that is the X in the X wa Y des sentence model. 18歳 means 18 years old, a prelude to the next episode in this series. 高校生 is high school student. So 18歳の高校生 is a high school student of 18 years old, or an 18-year-old high school student. So the whole thought is, my boyfriend is an 18-year-old high school student. That one's not true. So to hammer home the point that you can add adjectives just before nouns to make thoughts more complicated and longer, I'm going to give you a few model sentences that use no, but also use adjectives in them. かわいい猫の餌. So かわいい is cute, neko is cat, and esa is, well, it's sort of like prey, but it's basically food for an animal. You don't call the food that a human that you eat esa. It's like bait or like cat food or dog food. So the food of the cute cat, or the cute cat's food. Here's another one. うるさい高校生の赤い制服. Urusai is loud and annoying, as you might have remembered from a former video when I talked about dogs. Sorry, dog lovers. Kokosei is high school student. Akai is red, and seifuku is uniform. So it is the red uniform of the annoyingly loud high school student. おいしい人参のスープ. Oishi means delicious, ninjin means carrot, so delicious carrot. No, soup means soup, so a soup of delicious carrots. Dare no tsumaranai hon. Dare is who, and then no makes it whose. Tsumaranai is boring, and hon is book. So whose boring book? And you're probably asking a question here, like whose boring book? Seira Neptune no utsukushi henshin. Can relate to this. She does have an utsukushi henshin. So utsukushi is beautiful. Henshin is transformation, and Seira Neptune is Sailor Neptune. So Sailor Neptune's beautiful transformation. So here are some model sentences from the last video that I did on no, but I expanded upon them by adding wa and some other things to the end of them. 子供のおもちゃは安いですか? So from our last video, you might remember 子供のおもちゃ is child's toy, or the toy of the child. So 子供のおもちゃは, as for the toy of the child's toy, 安い means cheap. So you have desu ka at the end of that, turning that whole thought into a sentence. So the whole sentence is the toy of the child cheap? オタクのワイフは可愛いです. So otaku no waifu is the like fantasy anime female crush of the anime nerd. As for that crush of the otaku, kawaii desu, she's cute. So the otaku's waifu, the otaku's female fantasy wife, is cute. Yamada-san no kyokasho wa doko desu ka? So this is another question because it ends in desu ka. So Yamada-san no kyokasho, we learned in the last video, is Yamada's textbook. Wa, so as for Yamada's textbook, doko desu ka? Doko means where. So the whole question is, where is Yamada's textbook? Watashi no bento wa mazui desu. So watashi no bento is my box lunch, my bento. Mazui means it's yucky, it's gross tasting. So the whole sentence is, my bento, my box lunch, is disgusting. 彼のカバンは緑色です. So 彼のカバン, his bag. 緑色 is green colored. So midori is just green, the adjectives, but like midoriiro is like the color green, so it's more like a noun, but kind of also an adjective. Japanese! Anyway, the whole sentence means his bag, or my boyfriend's bag, we don't know. His bag is green, the color green. 彼女の車は速いですか? So here's another question, ですか? So 彼女の車, either her car or my girlfriend's car, we don't know. You'll learn from context if it's my girlfriend or if it's just she or her. But 彼女の車は速いですか? 速い means fast. So is her car fast? Is my girlfriend's car fast? Is your girlfriend's car fast? あなたの愛は本物ですか? So you might hear this in shoujo manga. So あなたの愛 is your love, your agape love specifically. 本物 means like the real thing or real. So is your love for real? Basically is that question. 青の空は私の喜びです. So now you see I've connected two noun no noun and noun no noun thoughts together with this sentence. So 青の空 is the blue sky, skies of blue. 私の喜び, yorokobi is joy. So 私の喜び would be my joy. So skies of blue are my joy. It's a rather poetic sentence. アイランドは緑の国です. So midori no kuni was the model sentence from the last video. Airando is Ireland. So Ireland is a country of green. Or Ireland is a land of green, if you want to sound more poetic, which this sentence does sound kind of poetic. 趣味は日本語の勉強ですか? So, 日本語の勉強 was our phrase from the last video, the study of Japanese. 趣味 is hobby. So, 趣味は XYZ. It's a very youthful phrase. My hobbies are blah, 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 blah. And then if you ask 趣味は何ですか? It would be what are your hobbies? But in this case, they're asking specifically, is your hobby studying Japanese? Or is studying Japanese your hobby? これは誰の帽子ですか? So, これは, as for this thing, that's close to me, the speaker, 誰の帽子, whose hat? And then deska turns it into a question. So, whose hat is this? Imagine the speaker's like holding a hat. Whose hat is this? Who does this belong to? Before we review this lesson, if you want more from this series, you can support it on Patreon. I have two tiers, one for the more adventuresome and foolhardy, that is my $19 a month tier, Juku. For that, you get a weekly study guide, which covers everything that I cover in these videos, plus a little extra information. And then you also get 4 worksheets per week, where you can practice everything that you've learned in these videos. Not only do you get to practice them, but you get to turn in the worksheets to me, and I will actually grade them for you and give them back with notes so you can learn better. It's kind of like having your own private tutor, but for much cheaper. And then for just the $2 a month level, if $19 a month is too rich for your blood, for the $2 level, you can join my Genki tier. And for that, you get just the weekly study guides, and you also get your name in the credits. Incidentally, in the Juku tier, the $19 a month, you also get your name in the credits. You also get a song written about you, about Japanese, and sung by me. You also get access to a monthly secret video, so there's like a lot of benefits in there. So check out those tiers if you're interested. And at this point, I want to give shout outs to my new Juku members on Patreon. I have Prosti, Raul Herrera, and Tanya. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your names, and thank you guys so much for supporting this series, and good luck on your Juku journey. And now we're going to review the model sentences that I went over earlier. And I know you might be tempted to skip this part, but please don't, because it's really, really helpful to practice actually saying the things out loud. It's the area of language learning that most people struggle with the most, and most people just kind of forget to do it, like are too embarrassed to try it out. Get to a nice private place where you can practice these phrases alone and totally practice saying the phrases out loud. I will say them 3 times, leaving a pause between each time so that you can have a chance to say the phrase. And I will put all the text up on the screen next to me so that you can read it. And this is your last time having the text in romaji, so really learn that hiragana and katakana after this video. Kawaii neko no esa. Kawaii neko no esa. Kawaii neko no esa. うるさい高校生の赤い制服。うるさい高校生の赤い制服。うるさい高校生の赤い制服。 おいしい人参のスープ。おいしい人参のスープ。おいしい人参のスープ。誰のつまらない本？誰のつまらない本？誰のつまらない本？セーラネプチューンの美しい変身。セーラーネプチューンの美しい変身。セーラーネプチューンの美しい変身。子供のおもちゃは安いですか？子供のおもちゃは安いですか？子供のおもちゃは安いですか？お宅のワイフはかわいいです。お宅のワイフはかわいいです。お宅のワイフはかわいいです。山田さんの教科書はどこですか？山田さんの教科書はどこですか？山田さんの教科書はどこですか？私の弁当はまずいです。私の弁当はまずいです。私の弁当はまずいです。彼のカバンは緑色です。彼のカバンは緑色です。彼のカバンは緑色です。彼女の車は速いですか？彼女の車は速いですか？彼女の車は速いですか？あなたの愛は本物ですか？あなたの愛は本物ですか？あなたの愛は本物ですか？青の空は私の喜びです。青の空は
私の喜びです。青の空は私の喜びです。アイランドは緑の国です。アイランドは緑の国です。アイランドは緑の国です。趣味は日本語の勉強ですか？趣味は日本語の勉強ですか？趣味は日本語の勉強ですか？これは誰の帽子ですか？これは誰の帽子ですか？これは誰の帽子ですか？ Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of my Learn Japanese for Beginners series. I hope if you felt like this was too easy for you, I've got more intermediate level series. I have my Learn Japanese by watching Sailor Moon series and my Learn Japanese by singing series. I have links in the video description below. And thank you to all of my patrons, including the new ones, for making this series possible. And I'll see you all next time. Mata ne!